First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
She is running for Utica Council, candidate in the First Ward. I did an op-ed the other day on the Kennedy garage sale, where I basically just laid out facts and gave a short opinion at the end, only in Utica. Stand by that. Katie Aiello takes offense to it and went so far as to put a video blog out yesterday. And she's on the line right now. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
I'm glad you're coming on here. All right. So what's your problem with me? What's going on here?
Actually, I put out the video before your article, and I think there were a lot of articles going around. So then when I read yours and I read the closing line of only in Utica,
only in Utica.
Where I think the comments, it just, I think I'm so glad you guys had Bob Schofield on just before me, too. He has been fantastic in this process of, obviously, I constantly have a lot of questions, and he's invited me into his office. I sat down and have talked with him for 3 hours at a time, and he's always so helpful and patient and informative. So that was actually, I learned a lot from this segment of your radio just a few moments ago.
Well, I'm glad. That's good.
I think it's interesting, though, that, that was my question is, if anybody didn't see my post or the rant, if you will, is we waited so long for new development and revitalization. So here it is. And then so many articles I saw of everybody saying, whoa, this might affect our parking, this might affect our central utility plant. And I saw so much, obviously, of people scrutinizing, like, Palmieri's decision in this sale, which seems like a very good sale.
Well, it seems like that on the surface. It's like, are you a fan of the Olympics?
In general, yeah, that's a pretty vague question. But
well,
yes,
I'm just saying,
I like
the Olympics that are going on right now, are you a fan? Do you like it?
I've really been only watching like Simone Biles stuff.
But it's cool.
Yes.
I mean, that drama is interesting, right?
You've got skateboarding and softball now.
Imagine if the Olympic Committee put the Olympics in Japan and didn't tell Japan. The Olympics are great. The Olympics are great, Katie. Okay? The Olympics are great, but communication is essential. That makes the leader let me finish. That makes the leader a bad leader if he's not communicating. And that's Palmieri right now. Sorry.
And then, so there's that piece of it.
That's the only piece. That's the only piece Bob Schofield had a problem with.
Is this my interview or
it's my interview. You're on my show. Okay? That's the problem Bob Schofield had a problem with, Katie. That's the only problem. He said, I feel development's going to happen. We are encouraged development. We said development would occur when we built the hospital. But there's got to be communication.
You can find me on social media. I'd love to talk about it.
Go ahead.
I'm not against you. You said, what are your
I'm just saying that's the issue. The issue is the communication. It's not whether or not there's development. It's that there's no communication. It's the communication that is the thing that's missing right now. And I know you being a business owner, a small business owner, which cannot be easy, and certainly cannot be easy in this last year, you know that communication is everything through times that are tough and through times of progress, and that's all I'm saying.
With you on communication is definitely necessary. Yeah. Here's the other part, though. When we see, when I read a lot of Pacenti had some headlines in the news of confusion, disgust, just plain baffled, and really, when I look at communication, that didn't actually communicate anything to us. It makes people emotionally invested, and it makes people take sides, but there's nothing tangible that we can look at and have evidence of what the actual issues are at hand. So I understand that people seem to be more upset that how it came about, but not what came about. So I think it's okay to give credit to it was a great sale, but also let's work on better communication.
And I don't even
that's the concern.
And I don't even think it's a great sale, but that's a whole different thing
that
we can get into.
Here's my question, though, that I'm going to be calling Bob and asking.
Yeah.
If it was so important for the hospital to not have that property change at all, they were already in the business of acquiring 72 parcels when it was owned by 35 different people, the properties in that footprint. Why not just also take that property too? If that was already so important for it,
here's why. Because who would want to buy a broken down garage?
Well, and the spaces were already promised to them.
Right.
I mean, there was a certain number of Kennedy garage spaces that were going to be given to the hospital to use.
You're building new construction. Why would you want to take on a a garage that's in trouble.
Because
you want to build a new garage.
Utility plant is going in the center of a downtown, and you want to make sure it's safe and nothing happens to it.
Well, and they had 200 parking spaces in the agreement that was initially there. Again, it goes back to the communication that's lacking. I want to go back, though, if you don't mind. You're critical of Pacenti, and in your op-ed, you said, how could I have an opinion piece without being scrutinizing Pacenti and MVHS? But to be fair, Pacenti made those comments after the announcement. What did you want him to say? What should Pacenti have said?
Think is important. I just don't see the media hype that is over the drama and the theatrics. I just don't see any point in it.
Well, then why are you writing an op-ed if you don't see anything? Why would you even be on the air with us right now?
Trying to explain that the issues at hand, you're saying you're defending.
And by the way, you're talking about the media overhyping something in a market that has lost so many employees. There's barely any media left in Utica. Trust me. There are very few reporters left to be able to overhype something. There's nothing being overhyped here. There's a battle going on right now between MVHS and Pacenti, with whether we like to admit it or not, with Mayor Palmieri. And let's talk about history here. The mayor has been in fights with everybody. He didn't get along with anyone through his entire tenure. He's always been at odds with everyone. Sooner or later, there's got to be a common denominator. How come no one gets along with Palmieri? The question should be, how come Palmieri doesn't get along with anyone else, in my opinion? And this comment about we're finally Utica, what was the phrase about being...
we've got to be pro-Utica.
Pro-Utica.
Okay.
For God's sake, Katie, I will let you, but let me just finish this last statement. I'm in the middle of a sentence. Let me finish my sentence, and I promise you I'll let you go. Yeah, please, let me finish. The statement that it's time for the county to be pro-Utica, my God, the money that's being invested in Utica, how ungrateful, for God's sake, so much investment in downtown Utica. It's transforming the city, and you want more. There's not enough. That's not pro-Utica. That to me is just ridiculous as well. So with that said, I will be quiet.
No, thank you for sharing that. And I think I get frustrated on these interviews because you're speaking in kind of this aggressive way, of a passionate way. And we're not that against each other on a lot of the topics.
Okay.
So that's why it's just confusing, and it kind of paints a slate that I don't think is accurate.
I'm going to be quiet so that you can not be placed in a position where you're uncomfortable. So I can
handle the discomfort. It's just I think we could communicate better moving forward, as is the theme of today.
All right, then I'm going to keep interrupting.
And that's what you were saying.
That's exactly what I was saying.
We should communicate better going forward.
I think we should communicate better.
And
Bill,
let her talk, please.
Can do this, I think the city and the county can too.
Okay, Katie,
good hope.
That is the statement of the day, right? If you and I can get through this, God forbid the city, the county, the MVHS should all be able to. I agree with you.
No, and I've made a lot of political videos. I'm not even, I've been very critical publicly of Palmieri. I'm not even just this, Utica, Utica can do no wrong person at all. But it just, I guess, when I look at those articles and everything, I just didn't see, if people are upset about Palmieri and publicly posting that they couldn't also say that it was a good deal. I understand you don't think it is a good deal. I think Utica's done a lot, though, investing in the footprint, and as far as being cooperative. And even Bob Schofield himself said that he has enjoyed working with Palmieri's staff, and then that was a good process. And I also thought it was great when Bob hit the nail on the head there when he said other cities build buildings like this side by side all day long. We'll figure it out.
Right, they're going to get through it. And if I can, I know that what happens in statements is we say things in the heat of the passion, and sometimes they're taken a bit out of context. When I say I'm not sure the deal is a good deal, because I think there are a lot of factors in there that still are unknown. Number one, it's got to be approved by the Common Council. Number two, there's this issue of the airspace that could very well blow the whole deal up and complicate it to a point where nothing ends up getting done, and
the
that's
developers
why,
back out.
And we're still waiting on the developers to hear from the developers to say, yeah, everything the mayor said is correct. We're all in, and we haven't heard that as of yet. So that's my only reservation. Ultimately, you're right. If this could be done to be able to rid the expense from the city, where a developer comes in and fixes it and works with MVHS, and all is done, and it doesn't cost the taxpayers. And, oh, by the way, it puts the building back on the tax roll. You're absolutely right. That is great business. That's good stuff. But
I hear about the airspace rights, and it's like, so what does that actually mean, though?
That's a good question.
So that's where I want more information of we don't know what that means.
Well, from what
This podcast is sponsored by Ramp. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. RAMP.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.